Welcome, everybody. It's a Rap Cave podcast, side quest. You know the deal. I'm with the boys. Platte Pods. I got my boy Birdie with me. Always cozy in this bitch.
Always.
And I got my boy Chrisp Apples on the 1 and 2s. So we gonna tap into a couple discography conversations because shout out Hip Hop by the Numbers, one of my favorite follows on Twitter. They do a good job of like polling people and getting their results and their thoughts. And he kind of sparked this. This is obviously an idea that's not new, but it's something that I'm passionate about. But I was curious to see his votes and his reaction, so it inspired this. So shout out to Hip Hop by the Numbers. If you're not a follower on Instagram, Twitter, follow them. Best discographies in hip hop. Best discographies, and then also best 3 album runs. But first, let's start with the discographies of hip hop. So
overall,
where I look at this, I'm gonna break it down into 2 questions. The first section is let's just identify the ones, and then second section, we'll do some sleepers. Because I feel like a lot of our top answers.
We personally think has a great discography. Because the obvious ones are
pretty obvious.
Obvious, yeah.
For sure.
And I put them on my list first, and then just kind of separated the ones that's not so obvious after. Yeah. But I feel
I think the obvious ones, they're going to be obvious.
I feel like it wasn't really no reason to put much thought into the obvious ones.
The obvious ones are, to me, the biggest are the Kanyes, the Jays, the Kendricks, the artists of that
Drakes,
nature.
The J. Cole's. I mean, good discographies front to back, in one way or another. Although, me and Platte and I have had words to say about For All the Dogs, but also considering what other people put out, it still is a positive in the overall discography of Drake. I feel like all the forerunners.
No, Drake's one that you really look at and you really do. Again, he gets labeled as a single artist, and I think he is predominantly a single artist, but he has done a good job of giving you a lot of very solid bodies of work. So I think his
overall catalog is great.
Belongs off of that, regardless of how I feel about his later projects. I still think that his discography holds up amongst a lot of the best
against almost anybody.
So let me ask you guys this then. Who is, in your opinion, the best discography in hip hop, and who are some of the, maybe if we all agree, who are some of your top choices? But who is your number one when you think of hip hop album makers? Who is your number one?
Kanye West.
I was gonna say this.
I think we all agree Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Because I will say all day that Jay-Z is a far better rapper than Kanye. I think anyone who doesn't agree with that is honestly off their fucking rocker, because Jay-Z rapping he is eons beyond Kanye, but every single album up until I guess the past couple of years, I would say. But Kanye's entire discography has been nothing but well thought out, well put together. Great fucking albums. You can't. There's not a single one you can actually deny. I would say Pablo and anything after that, I guess, is up for discussion.
Yeah, and even a lot of those are they would be very solid. Yes, Donda would be included.
Well, and it depends how you.
But that was multiple albums after Pablo, so I feel what you're saying.
Well, it's only really
because there was Jesus King, there was Ye.
I forgot about Jesus King. Yeah,
Ye was kind of like a throwaway.
See,
we can count it.
Thinking back to
they count.
What's the song we listened to a couple days ago off Ye?
No Mistakes. That's my shit.
And it did get me thinking back. Literally, when we were listening to it, I'm like, you know what? This album was pretty solid.
It was for sure.
The album Ye was actually pretty good. I think compared to prior works of his, it was a little underwhelming and underproduced. Like, it wasn't really.
No, there is a.
It was the first Kanye album I saw that I'm like, this seems a little more thrown together rather than everything.
Yeah,
but
that
was right after the Poopity Scoop shit, right?
Pretty much.
That was literally that same month when he dropped like 5 albums.
Because I can't say like I would say Kids See Ghosts is a better album, but I can't count. That's a collaborative album. I'm not really trying to put.
Watch the Throne too.
I'm not trying to put Watch the Throne of that in.
I'm not a fan of Kid Cudi.
Me neither. No, I've residently never liked Kid Cudi like that, but that album particularly I really fucking like.
Now one thing Kid Cudi did throughout his career that I did like was when he was on 808's Heartbreaks. Yeah. And he did that song.
Welcome to Heartbreak.
Yeah. Welcome to Heartbreak.
Well, that's kind of like that's where Kid Cudi started because I mean he was what Jay was to Kanye is what Kanye was to Cudi, or like that's what Kanye was trying to like kind of push, and that was like that song specifically was like the first time Cudi hit like any sense of like mainstream ability, because that was before Day and Night and shit.
My thing with Cudi, what I think that was right after Day and Night. But
so Day and Night was already before.
Yeah, I think so.
Pursuit of Happiness was already.
Because I know that Day and Night Pursuit of Happiness, he already had the Kanye seal of approval. Yeah. Like it wasn't like he came out the woodwork and then Kanye found him.
He had that project before Day and Night where like Kanye was on it, but so like I think they were collaborating, but I don't think it was 808s. I don't think it was.
That was the big project, right?
That was the big one, but we're talking too much about somebody that don't matter. No, I'm just playing. Kid Cudi, to me, my take has always been with Kid Cudi is that, and there's nothing wrong with this. He is great when greatness is around him. I think he's one of those artists that like you get the most out of them when there's other greatness around him. He's not the he is an amplifier. He's not the foundation.
Yeah, because he's not inherently a bad artist.
Because he's not going to bring the best out of somebody.
He's not an ideas man.
He's going to step into somebody's world and take it to another level. Yeah, so like, I don't want to have like too much of a Kid Cudi conversation because we're talking about good discographies.
Kid Cudi just remind me of like one of them characters on Apex, like the healing characters. Like you kind of need this nigga around.
Support characters.
Yeah, support characters. That's
exactly. Type of shit. Yeah, he's the medic. Like, whatever. Yeah. So, and that's like what he was at that time.
So let me ask this then. So we're all kind of agreeing with Kanye, and we all agree on his like flaws. Like past Life of Pablo. But he did have Donda, which I thought was a very. I put that up there with Life of Pablo and some of the other albums before.
I'm the only one that wouldn't, but I never gave it enough. But I don't think I gave it enough of a time of day.
Like, are we saying that Kanye West has the best discography?
Yes.
Or are we saying he's the? Because I'm kind of putting him at the best discography because he put out so many fire albums in a row. But I can match up albums with him and like a Drake or like Jay. You know what I'm saying? But they just didn't have them. They didn't have them in a row.
Well, but no, okay, we're not. I wouldn't say in a row, but do you really?
So we can, we can open that can of worms
again. And this is just objectively speaking, and this also attests to even Kendrick and whatever. Like, do you really think you could actually match the cultural hip hop, fucking everything impact that all of Kanye's albums like? All right, let's cut
okay,
it.
well, does Kanye have an album that has the same cultural impact as A Reasonable Doubt?
Yes,
I would say so.
Yeah,
I don't think so, but I think he has albums that's just amazing.
Well, but Reasonable Doubt is a commonly argued Jay-Z album also.
Yeah,
I don't even like that album.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
And I don't even like that album.
Reasonable Doubt.
I think we all feel the same way about it. We all respect it, but like we all just, I don't know. There's something about like of all the Jay albums I listen to, and we'll talk about Jay later when we're talking about like good albums. But there's something about that album that like I can identify its greatness, but I can't like enjoy it the way like.
Yeah, it's something about it. I don't know what it is, but this is just like that album for Jay-Z. I don't understand it, but
Well, and that's what
But so enough people I respect say that, so I'm like. I'm riding with it.
Here's the question: Reasonable Doubt versus College Dropout.
Reasonable Doubt.
I would personally take College Dropout just because of like me,
I would
my
take
like.
When I'm talking impact, that like I don't even think College Dropout is even close when it comes to impact.
I actually think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think that College Dropout had more impact. I think Blueprint had more impact than all of them.
I don't think that's his most impactful album at all.
It's hard. Really, I mean, well,
we gonna talk about Hope, but
I just want I think College Dropout. It was more of a moment, whether that had to do with Kanye's notoriety being close to Jay-Z or whatever, but Reasonable Doubt was, I mean, Jay-Z, that was Jay-Z breaking out for the first time, and he didn't have any notoriety or anything backing him, where Kanye at least already had that Jay-Z thing backing him, and that pushed his reach a lot further. And if you look at College Dropout next to a lot of the shit that happened close after that, I think there's a very clear influence culturally, musically.
I think
actually no.
I think
because that's Gold Digger.
Yeah,
and Through the Wire.
That's Through the Wire. Through the Wire is College Dropout, but Gold,
which is my favorite Kanye album. But it was All Falls Down. It was Through the Wire. It was fucking.
Well, what it was is it was the first like out. I won't say the first, but it was the first on a mainstream level to push through that idea that you don't have to be a gangster to be a rapper, and so that's why like I look at Reasonable Doubt as like that is
the first one to do that.
That is
not
great.
Not the first one. No, because.
But the first on an impact, like what's the one before it that like really like impacted a lot of people?
No, that I do disagree because you could say A Tribe Called Quest or De La Soul were both
Kid
very
and Play. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot of people who
for sure. I think I agree with all of those. You're right. Especially De La Soul.
I think Kid and Play got it the worst. They used to be on.
But
people are giving Kid and Play shit for years.
I would say that especially for like this generation of like Kanye made it cool to embrace the weird, embrace the like non-hip hop traditions.
Well, he made me feel welcome as an art school
kid.
And
like, still,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like he was,
and still
that,
make it. And still make it that. So
he is art school.
I think like when it comes for like Kanye's impactful albums, I don't think that's the one. But I would say Graduation. And why would I say Graduation?
Yeah.
That was the era when motherfuckers started putting on the skinny jeans, pink polos, fucking shaded shades, like all type of shit.
The shutter shades. No, well, I would say. I think late registration and Graduation were both more impactful than College Dropout, but for what College Dropout was at the time. Because, really the pink polo started with late registration. That's where the pink polo came out.
Yeah.
Shutter shades and the skinny jeans and shit started with Graduation. And also, there's a lot to be attested to with...
Well, weren't the shutter shades 808s?
No, that was Graduation. Graduation, absolutely, because it was in the Stronger video.
It was Graduation. Yeah,
the Stronger video was.
Yeah, you're right.
808s. Because I remember 808s.
He was doing it in 808s too with
808s,
like the Heartless, the animated Heartless video.
Yeah.
And shit.
So let me ask this then. So we're all putting Kanye's discography as one. So, what are your guys' next? You can name a few if it's not like a clear two, but you can name what's your next like tier, because we all agreed that Kanye album wise has the best discography. I don't know why that word has been such a hard thing for me this pod, but he has the best run of albums. So where are you at with number two? Like you can name a collection of artists, you can name one artist if you feel like there's one that's like cemented at two. Where are you at? Who are the names you're throwing in the ring after you name Kanye?
I'm going to definitely have to throw Hov probably right after that.
Which is, I mean, you can't really argue. Jay-Z has one of the greatest collections of hip hop music.
I'm trying to
ever.
think because I'm gonna make sure I'm thinking of every album.
I got a couple if you want to take a second.
But I ain't really put them in no order, so it was like
that's what
yeah.
I mean. No, I'm not ordering.
That's why I'm thinking like number 2 is probably gonna be Hov for me.
But the rest of them, it's like, so if you want to, I mean, and I'm gonna just jump around all time periods here. So
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, I don't think that we need to discuss how you and I feel about Kendrick's discography. You know, that's obviously great, but. If you go back, okay, like a good example would be like Wu-Tang's discography as a group all together, because I mean you have Only Built for Cuban Links, you have Liquid Swords, you have 36 Chambers, the OG shit, you have fucking ODB's Return to 36 Chambers, like you have so many albums that were so impactful on hip hop just from Wu-Tang.
It's funny because I put a rap group, but I ain't put Wu-Tang.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's not wrong, right? Like they had so many impactful albums to where there's albums still alluding, or people make songs still alluding to those albums. Like
Absolutely.
That, you know, so there's that. I always will stand in the corner of, I think Mac Miller has a fantastic discography. I will say, pre-watching movies with the sound off, you can take it or leave it if you want to. I like what's prior, but it depends who you are. I'd say watching movies with the sound off on, which is like still like 6 to 8 projects, something like that. All fucking phenomenal. It's hard to say. Number 2, I'd have to put Jay-Z, but after that, I think it blurs because...
Yeah, it's like a real toss-up after that.
I think that Smino has a great discography, but am I going to put him third to Jay being second? Probably not. Like,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to kind of ask some questions about like, because you got into like the clear 1 and 2 are Kanye and then Kendrick, and then from there third, I would say comfortably third. I wouldn't like cement it in third the way I cement 1 and 2 would be Jay for me personally. But if I'm going forward, if I'm looking like I want to pick your brain because Mac is somebody that like I look at as like he does have a great discography. I just want to play this out because I know that this will go over a lot of people's heads, or this will disrupt a lot of people's thoughts and opinions and feelings on some of these artists. But like I just want to genuinely ask you, just straight shoot, yes or no. I'm gonna name some artists, and you tell me if you would take Mac's catalog over theirs. All right.
Sure.
Tupac.
Personally,
no.
Mac.
Okay.
Me,
I thought you was asking if we think they had like a whole good.
No, I'm asking him because I just want to put it into perspective. So like,
me
okay,
personally,
yes,
I would take Mac. I think
again, you're not discrediting anybody that you're picking over
Absolutely
Mac.
not.
Let's preface it that way.
But yeah, Mac resonates with me more.
Let's preface it that way. Eminem.
I mean, for me, you know, Eminem's only he's got his run, and past that doesn't really do much for me. So
okay,
I'd still probably take Mac.
Okay. Nas.
Again, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. It's like there's albums I like, but I mean, even aside from Mac Miller, it's like we've talked about on this pod how there was a dip for Nas in like the early to mid 2000s type of thing. So like, you know, consistency. I don't know. I mean, I'm still personally taking Mac because of the consistency, the quality of album making, like, you know, like actual body of work shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I'll take that from.
Couple more real quick. Would you take Mac's catalog over Drake's?
That one I don't know, because I think that Mac and Drake have had probably a very similar. It's hard to pinpoint that, but like similar amount of albums that I absolutely like love, but the problem with Mac when it comes to Drake also is we didn't see where it went. Because you got to think, we're 7 years out from this guy dying. A lot has happened in 7 years.
That's fair.
That's like 3-4 Drake albums, like in 7.
Yeah, I think the last album while Mac was alive was probably the last Drake album was Scorpion, right? It would have been
right before that.
When in the year?
It's right before that.
When did Scorpion come out?
2018.
He definitely wasn't. He wasn't alive when
summer 2018, early summer, like
summer,
June.
Yeah, he died.
He died fall of
September
2018,
8th,
right?
2018. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Like that. So Scorpion would have been, the last one, which I've gone on record. I really enjoy Scorpion. In fact, it's grown on me more than a lot of Drake albums.
Right.
But it's hard to say because Drake has an outstanding discography, and Drake's weird with me because certain things, like we've talked about, how like me and Platte, we listened to Views together the first time. We were like, I'm not feeling it, and now down the line, we both refer to it as one of the best Drake albums, and I think a lot of people do. And so it's like Drake has this kind of sleeper effect in some ways of like. Something you may not like right off the rip, you could go back and end up being like, oh, this shit is fire. Where, like, I think Mac is more of an artist. It's like, you listen to it,
you
like
get
it,
it, you get it.
And that's it.
You get it off rip, yeah.
There's no really coming back and being like, oh, I was wrong about this. You love it or you don't off the rip. So, that one, that's a hard one to answer.
It's awesome. Okay. Just say it's
awesome. I got to take both on that.
You're going to push. All right. So who's your sleeper you'd bring into the conversation then?
Sleepers. We have not mentioned DMX. We have not mentioned.
We gonna mention.
We have
DMX,
not mentioned Future. We have not mentioned Outkast.
Ooh, Outkast is a good one.
Outkast has a crazy discography.
In fact,
they have one of the best.
That could.
They would
disrupt a lot of.
They would be a top 5. I was gonna put them when I was shooting the shit with you about Mac, and I was like, well, maybe pull that back because that's like a group versus.
But there is literally there is not a bad album.
Yeah, they smoked it.
Still just
they still do count 100%. I just wasn't gonna bring them in that equation.
Like I brought up Wu-Tang, yeah. But.
I got Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Because I would take Outkast.
See, I don't really know Bone Thugs discography like that.
No,
I would take Outkast over.
Fucking The Art of War, Creeping on the Come Up. Those all fire.
I would take Outkast over Wu-Tang
were you
personally.
Into Bone Thugs when you were younger?
Especially when I was in like 4th grade. 4th grade, I used to listen to.
Is that like some your
Busta Rhymes, Eminem, Bone Thugs,
Yeah.
Twista. I was like a fast rap type nigga back in elementary.
Yeah, Twista and Busta Rhymes back then. Yeah, for sure. That was everything.
And Lil Uzi.
Uzi.
I can't agree.
I think he has one of the better discographies.
Up to
Love is Rage 1 is
Lil Uzi versus the World. We got what's the album right after that?
Again, to me, Love is Rage 2. After that, it just gets messy, man.
Perfect Love.
Yeah.
Perfect Love is fire.
It just gets messy after 2.
Dip though, and
I would disagree because I thought what's the album with Myron on it?
That's a Lil
I don't
Uzi
know.
versus
That was a
World
fire
War
album.
2 or whatever.
Eternal Take
was a deluxe. Yeah,
it wasn't the best,
Deluxe
but everybody
Eternal
gonna have a miss, or I don't even think it was a miss. I just don't think it was.
But now the misses between Pink Tape and whatever this new bullshit was.
What's that? 2 albums?
Yeah.
Shit,
yeah. Plus Eternal Take was okay.
Kanye just dropped 2 trash albums back to back.
So yeah, but he has more backing.
But he has more.
Well, he got more.
And those are more.
Listen, I just gave you almost five albums that's fire. 2 of them, the SoundCloud world would consider classics.
I think Love is Rage is one of the greatest albums. Love is Rage 1 is one of the best hip hop albums of the 2010s. I think it's fantastic. That's where I found Uzi. That's what I love about Uzi. Love is Rage 2, great. Lil Uzi versus the World, great. It's just, he's just taken a strong decline recently, and Kanye has a bigger boat.
Following, yeah, and both.
So following is what makes music good or not?
No.
Or a discography?
No.
Because Jesus King was doo-doo.
No, absolutely.
I would honestly take that over Pink Tape. I'm not going to.
I wouldn't.
I'm not saying
at all.
Following.
I couldn't even name 5 songs on there. I can name more songs on Pink Tape.
I can name every song of Jesus King.
If you take every Kanye album, every good Kanye album, next to every Uzi album, Kanye's obviously taking the precedent, but what I'm saying is, the point being is that Kanye had more good music.
Yes.
Although, yes, he has been in the game longer, so I'm not denying you that. But he had a stronger. But the thing is that the point of the career in his career that Uzi is at is not the point that Kanye dropped at.
Yes.
Well, music is moving way faster than it was when Kanye started.
Yes, you're right, but this is the discography discussion because
but
that
again,
affects legacy.
But
again,
if it's a discography discussion, right? And I missed 2 out of 6 albums. That means 4 albums is at least decent to good. Is that really a bad discography of?
No,
music?
nobody's saying it's a bad discography.
No,
Or is that not a discography worth
picking,
arguing over? Because that percentile is damn near the same, almost the same accuracy as Kanye West.
But I disagree because Kanye's like hits were heavier.
Albums that are good.
Because if I'm being honest with you,
That's subjective. That's subjective because you can't tell me this music doesn't make me feel as much, if not the same way as Kanye shit.
It's all personal. I'm just throwing
it is personal. It is personal. But let me ask you this. Just you can answer it for yourself, or you can answer it generally speaking. Let me ask you to answer it generally speaking. Your interpretation of how people would generally perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to draft all Uzi and Kanye albums,
mm-hmm.
I feel like 3 of the first 4, if not 4 of the first 4, would be Kanye albums drafted before an Uzi.
I mean, okay, are we doing the Kanye versus Uzi now or not? Because that's not my point. I'm not comparing these two.
So that
all I'm saying is Lil Uzi got a good discography for me to throw him in there.
He does.
I'm not
denying it.
The point in that
I thought you were putting it there.
It
so
was just
that's all.
The only point I was trying to make is that there was a recent dip. And Kanye has more back catalog behind that. I get it.
Okay, I understand that.
He's been in the game longer, but at the same time, he just has a larger collection of better albums.
You know who's one of the last
of good albums than Uzi has collection of good albums.
Yeah, because I'm
even if the time difference is different.
Right, because like if I'm a motherfucking 19-year-old, you feel me right now, like you would sound crazy to me.
Yeah,
but I can see it on both ends, so it's like, all right, I know what you mean.
That was when I found Uzi. When I was 19, when I found Uzi, the first song I heard was "Safe House" off "Love Is Rage 1." Never forget that shit. And I found that I was 19. I came home from college to eat lunch and go back to class after that shit, and I found it on YouTube. And that was the moment I was like, no, Uzi is fucking cool. Like, trust me, I've been a long time Uzi fan. I have some negative things to say about him as of recent years, but I'm not mad at that point at all. Like I respect Uzi for what he's done over the time that he's been around.
Let me say this. One of the people that's
another one I was thinking about.
That slept on. Cardi had slept on. One of the people that's really slept on to me.
No misses.
Okay, no, let's bring this back. Cardi is not
misses.
slept on.
He's not slept on.
He's not slept.
Yeah,
he might be slept on thinking about discography wise for sure.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, maybe in that sense, but Cardi is absolutely not.
He's the epitome of like.
I know what you meant when you said that though.
Okay,
all right,
my bad.
All right,
because we talking about the ghost that have put out 8 to 12 albums and talking about somebody who only put.
Cardi's had a great run. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but
he only got 3 albums.
But also, it's just the point of me. Yeah, not slept on.
So one of the last people I'll mention is Game. I think Game has.
I was gonna put the Game.
I was
gonna put the Game, but I didn't want to do nothing past Doctor's Advocate, and that was like his second album. I think
that was second. Yeah.
Second album.
I think.
But he had a like I get that like documentary classic. All right, and then outside of that, he doesn't have a classic. Like as much as I will stand here and I will ride for documentary 2. I will ride for some of these other albums.
No, I'm not your guy. Don't look at me.
Wait, what's his other classic?
Debut.
Yeah, documentary.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said he ain't got no classic.
No, I said outside documentary.
He said outside of documentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, outside documentary. He don't got no classics. But
insane.
But he has a very
I really ever liked from Game was documentary 2 and 2.5.
Very good albums, and never has even close to a bad album. So I think he gets slept on in this discography because like when you go through some of the greats, you go through Hell, even again, I think Jay-Z obviously has a better album catalog than Game because Jay-Z has multiple classics. But Jay-Z also has in his discography his low points. Game doesn't have as low of lows as Jay has. Game doesn't have as low of lows as Nas has. But yes. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying he's slept on. Is like I'm not putting him in that conversation. He's a tier below it. Like to me,
I don't know, because when I think of
I put him in.
When I think of lower lows for Jay-Z, I think of like fucking Kingdom Come and
that was the other one I was trying to think of.
And Holy Grail, but I don't think outside of documentary, like the Game got an album that's fucking with Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come, you got Show Me What You Got. You got what's that song? 30's the new 20, nigga. I'm so hot still.
Maybe
shit's fire, nigga. Like he got too much fire.
Maybe you'll disagree, but I'm taking almost every. I'm taking a lot of Game albums over Kingdom Come.
I'm not a. Personally. The thing is for me though is like.
Personally,
I think on a personal level is like the Game is just outside of documentary and documentary 2 and 2.5 and all that. Like he just doesn't really do it for me. I've never really been that big of a Game fan. Mm-hmm. He just to me like I think he's a good rapper. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like it's not interesting to me. I don't find it I don't the music that he makes doesn't really like interest me that much. Like I guess like,
it's just something like Cali like. I think the Game, like, what make him so special is that, like Cali niggas, like, they real generic when it comes to their lyrics. Like, real just basic, real just straight to the point. Mm-hmm. But the Game know how to do it.
And keep it lyrical. And
it's like he know how to keep it in a story. It's like, I don't know if it's a storytelling form or... I think it's the way he presented more than anything.
Like, yeah, he's really... He's good at...
But he kind of did come up off of New York. Like production type shit, so like sense, that kind of what kind of like separated them.
The affiliation with 50 and shit too, you know, like there's a lot of shit. I don't think Game's a bad rapper by any means. I've just never personally resonated that much with him, but I enjoy his music, so I'm not gonna argue that by any means.
All right,
we got another sleeper. I'm just waiting. Y'all ain't got nobody else to name.
Yeah. You got another sleeper. You got another sleeper because I'm down to.
Wasn't nobody gonna say Rick Ross?
That was gonna be my next thing because Rick Ross and Game to me are like the same.
Oh god, I feel that. Well, I think Rick Ross. I think Rick Ross
I would take Game over Rick Ross, but
I think Rick Ross has better albums, but I don't think Rick Ross has an album
that touches documentary.
Yeah, in the more in the impactful sense, because I think he might have an album. I think Port of Miami was fire. That's what
Port of Miami is the...
Well, I don't think anybody's going to say it's not fire.
But a lot of people would probably say documentary would be over that, but I think, like... I don't think it's like...
I'd say documentary...
Not obvious. Like, people will say that's obvious, like, oh, yeah, this is better than that, but no,
I'm not even going to try... I'm not going to chime too much into the Rick Ross conversation because I've also been on record. Like, I've never been the biggest Rick Ross fan. Mm-hmm. I've always felt like everything he does kind of is just an amalgamation of itself. Like, you know, you're kind of, to me, Rick Ross he's not interesting, but on a different way that, like, I don't think that the Game is not an interesting artist. I think it's just not interesting to me. I genuinely don't find Rick Ross that interesting. Like, I never have. And I don't think he's a bad rapper by any means, but, like, I just don't think he's done anything that fucking special. Like, I really don't. And there's no body of work of his other than Port of Miami that I can look back to and say, this was a fantastic album. Like,
Teflon, huh?
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't do, like, not, Rick Ross has never done it for me.
Rich forever.
I want to sit out of this, I want to let you guys cook. Because Rick Ross,
I don't got much. I don't got much more to add to it because, like, again, I look at him as like a slightly lesser but same tier as Game. Like, hold
on, lesser.
Yes, I look at him as lesser but same tier.
Just as discography? No, because he's definitely probably a tier higher than Rick Ross.
Oh, Game?
No, I mean Rick Ross is definitely tier higher.
That's where I disagree. I feel like the game's discography, and I know that's a very common matchup of Game versus
wait,
Ross.
just talking about discography or just overall?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
if it's discography, maybe I don't even know about that because I feel like I know a lot more people that
again. I'm not saying they're not like they're both to me they're both all-stars. You know what I mean? Like, but I would take this all-star over that all-star is where I'm at with it. But like that's where I look at their discographies. Is like I think they're both phenomenal discographies. I think they're both the same type of artists where they don't necessarily have like misses. Like they're very consistent. But I would take Game because I think, in my opinion, Game has had slightly higher highs than Rick Ross, and that's where I would lean Game. But if someone wants to disagree, I ain't mad at
with that off the fact that like maybe he ain't have the craziest discographies, but the singles he put out was like. Yeah. Always one of those. Like the Game, on the other hand, he just dropped albums. We don't know if he dropped a single with this album. I don't even know if I seen the rollout. But hey, it's the Game. Like, you know, you gonna tap in because you fuck with him, you know, this, that, and the thing. But it's like Rick Ross is like he'll drop the Boss with T-Pain, and then next thing you know, Teflon Don come. I don't know if it was on Teflon Don. I'm just saying shit. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, like the singles and shit, like Rick Ross was able to.
Rick Ross had a certain kind of like star power that like the Game never really had.
Reached, right.
The documentary was a fantastic album, but again, I think a lot of it was very, I feel obviously a 50 Cent album, but Game was rapping. Man. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I feel like y'all are sleeping on Game.
I wouldn't say fully that, but I feel I think 50 had a lot of influence on that album particularly. If you look at the way it's structured, if you look at the biggest hit and fucking Hate It or Love It, whatever, you know, the bigger hits off of it, they're kind of 50 coded, you know, whatever.
You know, it's crazy.
Rick Ross has always had this star power behind him that. I won't even say I don't know. I actually don't know the origin of like where Rick Ross got his like notoriety from, as far as like rap shit or where he like what his origins are. But like Rick Ross has always had this star power. This fucking he was a single artist when single artists were a lot harder to come by than they are nowadays. You know.
Yeah. Do you have any more sleepers before we transition here?
Well, I wanted to ask you guys this. As far as sleepers, the only thing I'll reiterate is Smino. I think he has a fantastic discography. I think, and I will always ride for Smino on this show. Like, you know, I think Smino is damn near a flawless artist for me. Like, and he keeps it interesting. He keeps it different. I don't think there's a bad project by him. Are they all fantastic? No. I just want to shout that out. What I want to ask both of you is, where are we putting Cole?
Did we say Cole? Or are we
not
disrespectful?
really?
We didn't. And there's
a
there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason. Okay. I think. I think when you look at Cole, you look at his. Again, I'm in the minority of I think Off Season is his best album, but most people will general consensus will say that 2014 is his best album, and
you get a lot of Born Sinners too.
But that is the loudest.
2014 is a general consensus. A lot
but that
Born
is
Sinner a lot too.
But that one is also like the loudest like criticism I've ever heard of a classic album.
What, Off Season?
No, 2014. Like I look at J. Cole as like, to me, we're talking like Ross and Game, and I would take those discographies over J. Cole. Like, I think when you talk about discographies, I think J. Cole is not completely out of the realm, but he is a lower tier than a lot of the greats that he's put into. Because I look at J. Cole as an all-time great, and I think all of us at this table would look at J. Cole as one of the X best rappers ever. So
for sure,
we're looking at him through that lens. But when you look at his discography and you match it up, like, who's the discography that you're taking Cole over? You're not taking over Drake. You're not taking over DMX. You're not taking over
DMX. Maybe depends on who you are. Depends on what type of music you like.
I think
that Cole and DMX. I mean, not that we're comparing the two, but they're also two. I feel like polar opposite.
That's a fact.
Sides
they are
of hip hop.
They are.
To where I don't. I mean, to compare them, but I don't know. I think J. Cole is a fantastic artist. I will say that, like, the only things pre-Born Sinner that I really stand by are Cole World and fucking
Silence, sorry.
What did we just talk about?
Warm up.
The warm up. Yeah, I was gonna say the intro to the fall, whatever. The warm up and Friday
Night Lights.
I keep wanting to say it, but I don't really care for Friday Night Lights like that. I never have.
It was cool.
It was, yeah, the warm up.
I love
and
that.
Cole World was when, like, everything kind of started.
Yeah.
But then, like, you get, even if you want to say the discography starts at Born Center, I guess, like, because that is when Cole struck the mainstream. That's when it became, although Cole World, like, you had to work out and shit.
Cole's here.
It was getting there. Born Center,
Cole is here.
Yeah, it was there. So then, post that, you have 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Now, the thing between you and I is we pretty much love all of Cole's discography, except we have perfectly opposite opinions on For Your Eyes Only and KOD.
Yes.
I'm a huge KOD fan. He's a huge For Your Eyes Only fan. We're not big fans of each album. But outside of those, you don't really have... So I wanted to ask you guys that, of, like, where do you put Cole discography-wise?
I think...
In your opinion.
I wouldn't put him in the top 10.
You said you're taking The Game and Rick Ross over J. Cole discography?
Yes.
That's insane.
That's
insane. That's very insane because that's just insane. Like I can't even put him.
Boss.
And I don't like to do the whole stardom thing or whatever. Like that may come behind me saying this.
Music though.
Right? No, that may come behind me saying this, but like. I don't think, like, documentary is nowhere near, in my opinion, close to Born Center. Especially the way Born Center was put together. You got the commercial hits. You got the thought-provoking music, the interpersonal. Everything on there is just... And it's not even a front to back for me. 2014 Forest Hill Drive, that's a front to back for me.
That's a front to back.
But it's just like...
I
think it's super commercial.
Other than Hella's garbage.
Whatever, but you can listen to it.
You can listen to it. Right, that's what I'm saying.
Born Center's a lot longer, too.
But, like, when it comes to, like albums like Rick Ross got and The Game, it's just, like, a bunch of shit. Even it's, like, it'd be a bunch of shit that, like, I could sonically listen to and like and still don't care for. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what. That's kind of like my point with both of The Game and Rick Ross.
Then you got to add on the shits I don't care for.
Yeah.
So now that's like, you know what I'm saying?
The shit you do like, you still don't fully like. I feel that way with The Game, both The Game and Rick Ross. Is like, I respect them. I think they make good music. I think they're good rappers, but at the same time, neither of them really do much for me. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't do anything for me. You could argue a generational thing, but we know about each other that this ain't nothing to do with generations. We know multiple generations of hip hop music. We know where shit stands. That argument doesn't, not that I expect it
doesn't fly,
I'm just saying in general, that argument doesn't stand. We know our history. We know our shit.
I think Runaway off Born Center cleaned like a lot of albums up like along. Like that song is just amazing.
And he had so many cool concepts on that album. Let Nas Down, I think, is a really cool, like, inventive fucking song that nobody really was that vulnerable like that. You know, he did a lot of cool things with Born Center.
And Chain and Day, that's one of my favorite songs on there too.
But then, okay, so past those two, how do you feel about the rest of his discography though?
2014, fire. For Your Eyes, fire. You already know how I feel about KOD.
I know you're not KOD.
Off Season, All Season was nice. And what was after that? Was there anything after that? I don't
So
think so.
might
whatever
delete
the new
later.
one was.
Might delete later.
Yeah, should delete later. Anyway.
It was cool. I'm not gonna say it was like ass or nothing, but it was just,
I know.
it's too much. It's too much.
I'm too hard.
It's
on
too
it,
much
but
stigma on that specific project.
I'm too hard on it, but also like
one day I feel like I'm gonna listen to it later and just not think about it and probably fuck with it more.
I don't think that.
But when I first heard it, I thought it was
it.
good too.
Yeah,
though.
that's
I
where
thought it
I'm
was
at
good when
with
I
it.
first heard
Yeah.
it. For real,
no,
honestly.
see, my first listen until now, my opinion hasn't changed on that album, which I've vocalized on this program many times. Like it's just like I don't. Might Delete Later did not do anything for me. I don't think that Cole did anything on that album that he hasn't done before. I think it was a throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mix of throwaways, and like throwaways can be great, but like this wasn't great throwaways to me. I don't know.
And the name just kind of gay. Like that's just something.
Yeah, Might Delete Later. It seems too. It's too passive.
It's
too,
too, it's too corny. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, Platte. Where do you put Cole next to like these?
Yeah,
other
give me some
I
names
wouldn't
and
even
I'll
put
I'll
the
tell
Game discography over Lil Uzi discography.
So
swear to God.
I mean, I'm
Again, I disagree with that, but I'm not all the way hating
I'm gonna
on it.
leave out
Because Uzi has a fire discography.
I'm gonna leave out Kendrick, Jay.
Yes.
Fucking.
Yeah, leave out the top
Kanye,
tier.
Kanye
Yeah.
and Drake.
Okay.
Outside of that, how far down does he rank? Is he top 10 still? Is he?
I'm still putting them up there with them.
I'd put him.
Honestly,
I put him outside of. I'd put him probably outside of top 10 because I'd put Wayne over him. I'd put Nas over him. I'd put Pac over him. I'd put Big over him.
Pac over him.
I
don't think Big's a fair one.
I wouldn't put Big on him.
He's got
either.
2 fucking albums.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
of course.
won't
2
put
Yeah,
albums
and
are
they're
great.
fucking no, but
I
they're
don't
like
think the discography
Born
discussion
Center
is
in
fair.
2014
They're
is holding up with those 2 big albums.
I don't think the discography discussion is fair to put Big into.
I'm
then,
holding my ground on that.
Yeah, if
on
I
that,
had 2 albums,
personally.
it'd probably be fucking great too.
Yeah,
as
if I
opposed
died.
as opposed to 12.
Everything
yeah.
sound better when a nigga dead. Swear to God.
Well, that's not.
Sounds better when a nigga dead.
That's
I'm
not-
telling
that's
you.
not wrong.
I actually like this
Juice
guy.
Juice WRLD became a legend in 2 hours.
And X.
At 2 hours after he
X
died, he
too.
was a legend.
Juice had the
Bro, he
had the gas.
No, they all had
nobody was calling Juice WRLD a legend before he died.
They had following.
Nobody
I'm not
seriously
gonna
in the name with Juice WRLD was calling him a legend before he died.
Because also everybody thought he was just at the start of his career.
That's fine. I mean,
Well,
like I said, Notorious,
But he
Big,
was, like,
B.I.G. only had 2 albums, so like I can imagine that's like the start of his career too.
But those 2 albums were, again, I'm not gonna compare that. I'm not gonna do the Juice WRLD versus Big thing because Big had like 2 like certified albums versus like Juice was a good artist, but that's a whole
2 names in the same
yeah.
sentence is actually
That's a
crazy.
whole nother thing. So I'm standing 10 toes down on Big
I can't take the Big.
because you asked me, and you know who else's catalog that I think would be an open debate just because I think the start of it was hot is I would entertain the Nicki Minaj versus Cole discussion of albums. Cause that first 3 albums,
It's hard. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard for me to like throw a woman in there because like yes, I did bang Pink Friday, but I wasn't like banging her.
yeah. Again, we're not the audience.
I know. I'm saying like I don't know. Well, so like she probably could have had some shit, and I just wasn't really
this is where,
paying attention too hard.
Objectivity comes into it of like, are they objectively? But there's a lot of Nicki Minaj albums I still haven't heard. What I will say, I listened to Pink Friday 2, and it doesn't.
Pink Friday 2, yeah.
It doesn't hold a candle to.
Yeah, I mean,
the shit
I heard
she's
Pink
done
Friday
in the past.
too,
Yeah.
and that's
No,
I
100%.
pretty much do the same thing with her. I pretty much did the same thing with her after like every album after Pink Friday. I just heard it and like, I don't know if it was because I was comparing it to Pink Friday or whatever, but it's just like I couldn't.
Well, she was a part,
it's
a part of our childhood.
It might be because she a female too, so she rap about female shit. I don't really listen to females like that. You know what I'm saying? Because most females rap about female shit. So
yeah, no,
that's probably why I passed it on. So I don't know, but it is Nicki Minaj.
I mean, look, Nicki Minaj is a great. I do. I mean, this is a discussion for another day. I do think she is overrated generally, because if you really look at the bars, it's pretty elementary. Like she's not it's grocery bag lyrics. Like it's that Young Money shit.
And that's the thing though. That's like 99% of females. So it's like, I don't think her shit was like elementary school, but on top of the fact her being so hard and like sunning like her class of
she's
females,
a hard bit, yeah.
Bad so
bitch, hard
it's
bit.
like,
and I think the personality.
sometimes,
but I think personality drives Nikki more than the
right.
music itself.
Yes,
like,
yes,
you know
that
what I mean?
too for sure.
Because if you like,
but you can't deny Pink Friday was what that was.
Absolutely, I will never deny that. But I do think she gets chalked up a little higher than she probably actually. Because if it was a dude rapping the same way, everyone would be like, "This dude fucking sucks." Like, I'm sorry, but that's just facts. Like,
I don't know. It's a lot of ABC rappers out that's dudes too. So
well,
I can't put that.
Well, we call people trash all day on this program, so that's what happens. But either way, like, I don't know. That's a discussion for another day. I don't want to start
to me, she's like a Lotto times two. Cause Lotto be having some good lyrics.
Yeah, that's fair. Bars. And I love it. I trust me. I love the bars and shit. But it's like, it depends how deep. You gotta draw the line somewhere. You gotta take it to a certain point. A lot of Nicki's lyrics over time have just kind of been.
I think they was up to par. I don't think they is like elementary. I think they was up to par, but they probably wasn't the craziest. Like, and some people say the same shit about Jay-Z. They'll say like, "Oh, this bars is surface level," you know.
Yeah,
that's just how.
But again,
he got swag. That's what I'm saying. But like when Nicki Minaj, she hard. She give you the perfect mixture of sexy and good rapping. So it's like you kind of just got to take the balance. You can't just always
sit here and say, like, I'm not saying Nicki Minaj is a bad rapper by any means, but
that'd be crazy.
But I do just think that people chalk her up a little higher than.
You got to think about all the female rappers, like who really up there with Nicki.
But apply it to a man.
You can't compare men and women, the same type of stratosphere. In general, we all know that, but in reality, you can't really do that.
But what I'm saying is just like,
and I could have just worded that wrong. I hope I didn't.
If you take her bars and put them in other shoes, are they quite as good as they actually are?
Wait, you said it one more time.
If you take her bars and put them into a different pair of shoes, and are they as hard, or is it the personality that makes them hard with Nicki Minaj? But this is a discussion for a different day.
Yeah.
Let's do it a different time.